Summary of climatic zones. Polar. This has anticyclonic weather, snow and an ice surface. In the northern hemisphere, the cold pole is displaced to the Siberian landmass, and the polar cap itself is often invaded by travelling depressions, increasing snowfall. Disturbed temperate. The weather is influenced mainly by travelling polar front depressions, with no dry season. This is typically between 40 and 70 degrees north or south. Subtropical transitional Mediterranean zones. These are transitional zones under the influence of the subtropical high pressure areas in the summer, giving fine dry settled weather, and in winter influenced by the disturbed temperate zone, giving rain and cool and unsettled weather. In the southern hemisphere, there's a similar climatic zone, but the seasons are reversed. Arid subtropical at 30 degrees. This is influenced in the summer and winter by the subtropical high. There's pleasant weather with arid deserts over land. Tropical transitional, savanna. In winter, this is influenced by the trade winds with dry subtropical weather. In summer, it's influenced by the wet equatorial zone. Equatorial. This has two very wet seasons coinciding with the crossing of the ITCZ across the equator. There's uniformly high temperature, humidity and rainfall throughout the year. There's no real dry season. The Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ. In July, it lies mainly north of the equator, perhaps 5 to 10 degrees north. Over Africa, it's further north, nearly 20 degrees north, due to surface heating, and over Asia may reach as much as 30 to 40 degrees north before returning back to the just slightly north of the equator again over the Pacific Ocean. In January, the ITCZ will follow the sun, about a month behind it, into the southern hemisphere. It will typically be between 0 and 20 degrees at most south of the equator, but taking larger dips southwards over land. The Intertropical Front. This is a division between tropical continental air and maritime air. The warmer air will rise above the cooler air. South of Morocco, January. In Africa, in January, the ITCZ lies well south, going as far down as South Africa. North of the ITCZ, the winds are northeasterly. Coming from the Sahara, they're dry and dusty. South of the ITCZ is the southwest monsoon and southeast trades, which will bring moisture to the ITCZ, and you can expect CU and CB clouds. The mean jet position will be travelling through Morocco, Tunisia and Egypt, and of a strength of 80 to 100 knots. South of Morocco, July. The ITCZ is well north, reaching as far as southern Egypt. North of the ITCZ will be hot, dry, dusty winds, known as the Harmattan. South of the ITCZ will be the southwest monsoon, which combined with the southeast trades can produce CUs and CBs. Southwest monsoon, July. The southwest monsoon originates in Australia as a southeasterly flow. This travels in a northwesterly direction around Sumatra and turns at the equator to become the southwest monsoon. In the Malacca Straits, there can be intense thunderstorms known as Sumatras. The southwest monsoon, when it reaches Bangladesh, will produce heavy rainfall and flooding. It crosses through Asia, but peters out upon reaching Japan. Northeast monsoon, January. This originates over the Siberian High in Russia, initially with a northwesterly outflow, which turns right and becomes a northeasterly flow, tracking either inland over China towards the Himalayas and India, or along the sea where it gathers moisture. Most of India is protected from the northeast monsoon. However, the moisture picked up over the sea of Japan can produce a low-level fog near Hong Kong. Significant weather charts show winds and significant weather typically at high altitudes. This particular chart is for flight level 100 to flight level 450 and was produced by the Regional Area Forecast Centre, London. It will be typically valid for 24 hours. Depicted on it are heights of the tropopause in boxes with local tropopause highs and lows. There will also be areas of clear air turbulence, CAT areas, with numbers attached to them and shown in the legend. The wavy areas, which look a bit like cloud shapes, are areas of significant weather. There'll typically be arrows leading to boxes describing the weather inside. Wind direction and speed greater than 80 knots is depicted on the chart, with solid triangles indicating 50 knots of wind, a full line 10 knots, and half a line would be 5 knots if depicted.